Scroll through social media today, and you will notice a strange new trend. Young people are actively broadcasting their lack of friends, framing complete isolation as a badge of strength. They gather followers by romanticizing the fact that they sit alone. There is a psychological danger in this kind of performance. When an online audience applauds your isolation, it creates a comforting illusion. You start making a home in the hole. The absolute safety of a rut destroys the motivation required to step outside and actually connect with someone. This comparison reveals a sharp division between what we tell ourselves and our biological reality. Solitude is a chosen state. It registers as restorative and calm. Loneliness, however, is a low-grade alert. It floods the body with cortisol, locking the nervous system into a threat-vigilant posture. We might tell the internet that we are actively choosing our independence, but beneath that performance, our bodies are registering an autonomic threat. We are enduring a physical panic that we cannot consciously choose to turn off. This graphic illustrates why. For almost all of human history, exclusion from the group meant losing access to shared warmth and protection. Because isolation was a death sentence, the brain evolved to read social disconnection as a literal physical danger. This slide translates that ancient survival mechanism into modern health data. The resulting physiological toll is severe. Chronic loneliness places the same strain on your systems as smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. This data is so compelling that the U.S. Surgeon General, along with the World Health Organization, has officially classified extreme social isolation as a pressing global health threat. Chronic loneliness forces the body into an autonomic siege, locking the physical systems into a state of emergency. This diagram maps the loop that keeps people trapped. A threat-alert brain misreads situations as hostile, forcing withdrawal. Now entirely alone, the nervous system remains vigilant, fragmenting sleep. Drained, the mind collapses into negative rumination, feeding the perceived threat and sealing the loop shut. This slide shows why you cannot simply force your way out of this state. Chronic sleep deprivation physically robs the prefrontal cortex, the brain's logical control center, of its regulatory power. You lose the energetic capacity required to challenge your negative thoughts, or to find the strength to send a single message to a friend. A person cannot think their way out of a behavioral rut when the neurological hardware required to do that thinking is completely out of power. This identical hardware failure can be triggered from the inside too. Consider perimenopause. While often dismissed as an emotional phase, it triggers a measurable disruption in the internal hardware that regulates every physiological response. Erratic hormonal fluctuations bypass conscious thought. They destroy sleep architecture and destabilize chemical pathways required for mood regulation, plunging the nervous system into chaos. Because society rarely treats perimenopause as a physical threat state, women often endure these violent sleep and mood disruptions in silence. They internalize the exhaustion and anxiety as a personal failing, mistaking internal biological shifts for social isolation. Left unaddressed, this internal autonomic siege forces the same behavioral withdrawal. Women pull away from their communities, quietly eroding and ending relationships due to total nervous system burnout. Whether the trigger is an external lack of community or an internal hormonal shift, the result is identical. A nervous system locked into a high-alert survival state destroys our capacity to connect. This balance shows why sleep is the requirement for recovery. Restoring sleep allows the prefrontal cortex to regain regulatory power and interrupt the vigilant cycle. But this creates a difficult paradox. How do you achieve deep, restorative sleep when your brain is hardwired to scan for danger and you lack the cognitive control to calm yourself down? You need a biological intervention that requires zero cognitive effort to execute. This slide details the tools that access the nervous system directly. Scent, processed through the olfactory pathway, acts as a direct pathway to the brain, nudging the autonomic state away from high alert without requiring you to think positive thoughts. You must use passive sensory tools to prove to the body that it is safe, well before the mind has the capacity to believe it. This chart demonstrates the interrupt. Linalool, found in lavender, intercepts the threat-locked nervous system. It modulates the GABA system, the brain's calming chemical. Increasing its efficiency forces a parasympathetic shift, quieting the alarms and allowing restorative sleep. The text on this slide is absolute. Scent is not a cure. Nothing in a bottle can cure a human need. Human connection and professional support are the only true answers to isolation. These concentric circles show why regulating the autonomic state is the first step. We cannot fix loneliness with a chemical protocol, but we can use simple, zero-effort biological tools to fix our sleep. That restores our cognitive capacity, giving us the physical strength required to do the hardest, bravest work of all, reaching out.